Now, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has welcomed the announcement that former President Jacob Zuma will not serve any more time in prison for his 15-month sentence. Zuma was granted special remission, which was also extended to hundreds of other low key offenders. ANC KZN chairperson Siboniso Duma joins us now live for that reaction from the party's KZN branches. Mr. Duma, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Tell us why you're welcoming the decision.
Let me greet your viewers at home first, and we are glad that you are able to understand, juxtapose the realities, what is currently happening in South Africa. We want to thank the President, number one, just to highlight the matter. And I think it's critical at this point in time that the President is a legal practitioner. So it's okay that he understands the interpretation of statute. It's the same with Minister Lamula. We want to thank them for understanding the delicacy of the law, the applicability and the application of the law, and balancing act in terms of political analysis, then understanding. I think that's what they did in this matter. And unfortunately, you are also allowing the John Steiners and of this world, a standard 12 or a standard 10 or grade 12 student, someone who does not understand the jurisprudence, because it's unfair. When you talk about Section 82, subsection J, it must be understood in the context that those who are not violent, those who must be released from prison, who are not doing a lot of things, if all the time, if there is a backlog, if prisons are full, they must also be given a chance. President Zuma happens to fall into that category, but myself and yourself, now you understand that President Zuma fought for this freedom, fought for this democracy, and he has submitted, he has complied with all the matters. He's a law-abiding citizen, so I don't understand why would at this point in time say that the president was prioritized politics before the law, yet I've already expatiated on the principle of law that they followed everything to the T in ensuring that they balance. And we know what transpired in July during the unrest era. So people must be taking that into cognizance at the same time.
So are you saying, Mr. Duma, that, had the decision with regards to President Jacob Zuma gone the other way, we might have risked experiencing another July unrest or something similar to it?
We're not suggesting that, no way. I think we are saying that there is a maturity within our communities, because remember, after the July unrest, we had to go deeper in our communities, engage with all the structures in ensuring that they understand, which is why in the province of KwaZulu-Natal you'll find that there was calm, because they understood. We said that we've got a serious confidence on our judicial system. We trust the president is going to make sure that they follow all these matters. So which is why at the end, when the skewed equations has been balanced, we must appreciate it. President Ngamalala himself has managed to make sure that there is calm in the process. He was articulating something positive as well for government. He was articulating something positive for the ANC as the ruling party. So I think that the matter has been balanced in that way, but we wouldn't want us to be naive. So it would be easy for Breitenberg of this world, because they are supreme. They think that race is everything. They think that if you are white, you just have to talk in South Africa, because they lead a DA that is very racist in nature. They think that if the law is properly applied when it comes to an African, then that's unfair, then it's not correct, then there is no justice, then there is no equitability understanding of matters, even in terms of economy. And we are saying that we admitted the process in South Africa that in the new dispensation, we had to embrace everyone in the process, which is why the ANC is a non-racial organization that believes in a prospectus of everyone who is an inhabitant in the country called South Africa. But at this point in time, I don't think you are able to meet those things as the AfriForum of this world think, no, JZ must go back to prison. Why would you subject an 82-year-old who have undergone all the processes, who have been able to oblige with all the matters, comply with everything? If the law, because the Supreme Court, given the process, their ears already comply on those matters.
And Mr. Duma, I think maybe just my last question to you is that you have to understand and appreciate why, some people, like the people that you've mentioned, would bring in politics into this. Because the minute you bring in the president, with regards to things that have to do with the law, sometimes those questions will come up, especially the question around when did the decision around remission come about? Why is it coming about now? People just asking questions around whether or not there would have been remissions for the 9,000 others, without this having happened.
I'm sure we know time and space is always critical. If you lead the country, complicated and volatile in some instances like South Africa, because remember, President Ramaphosa must still address the matters, must still make sure that at the same time that you address the imbalances of the past. So he must be mindful of the realities within our communities at the same time. So I'm glad in this time, because for me, let us scrutinize the law. He has followed the prescript of the law. Minister Lamula did the same. Correctional Service did the same. And at this point in time, all these antagonistic views are only informed by biased understanding that Zuma must be oppressed to the end so that the ANC is going to be weakened going to 2024. We're not going to allow that. And President, strange enough, he has followed all the processes. If they're saying that he was obviously not objective, from the word go, he was going to say that JZ is not going to prison, JZ is above the law. He has not done that. He has managed to follow all those matters objectively, and painful as it was in some instances, because members of the ANC were complaining, the communities, the society was also complaining, but we had to endure the process of balancing the issue of judiciary so that the confidence of the law in our country won't be followed by anyone. So we are glad at this point in time it has been followed, it is still respected, and the issue of the independence of the judiciary. So I think we are there at this point in time.
And just very quickly, Mr. Duma, at the end of the day, without mentioning different political parties and the ANC having raised this and that, I think that's where the problem comes in, where we make this whole thing political. Because at the end of the day, the mistake, happened because of the state. It was correctional services that gave the former president medical parole. That has nothing to do with the ANC and different political parties. The mistake was done by correctional services, and the Constitutional Court then made a decision that it was unlawful, but still made it correctional services' responsibility to decide on whether or not the former president did serve while he was out on medical parole. Am I right? Without going to political parties, because that debate obviously is just making us go back and forth.
I'm sure it will take a very fine comb to analyze and differentiate between the two. And we are saying that Minister Lamula is a legal practitioner and is able to ensure and scrutinize almost everything, which is why today he is the one who was holistically understanding, making us understand why is this process taking place. Because I've already highlighted to you that ordinarily others, or even when we are seated on the ground, we think that JZ has already served his sentence in prison. But at this point in time, because we are law-abiding citizens and we want to maintain we want to maintain the understanding on the ground, we are saying that no, the law has taken its course, we've followed all the processes, everyone must understand and adhere to the prescript of the law at the same time.
All right, Mr. Duma, thank you very much for your time. The ANC's KZN chairperson there, Siboniso Duma, speaking to us. They're reacting to the decision by Correctional Services and the president around 9,000, more than 9,000 prisoners, not just the former president, Jacob Zuma. And like I said, a lot of people might agree and might not agree. The mistake initially was made by Correctional Services by granting the former president medical parole, which was later found to have been wrong by both the High Court and the Constitutional Court, even the Supreme Court of Appeal. So at this point, a lot of people would say, let's let sleeping dogs lie. But it's up to you there at home. What do you think about what's happened today and developments around the former president?